There are two major ways you can play this game. One is called free aim. Another one is called auto aim. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and talk about free aim first. When you click on free aim, make sure you have something called last hit attack on. Now, why do you have this on? I'll explain. Let's first have it off. When we have it off, what you can see is, there's an attack button, and that's about it, right? There's nothing on the next to the attack button. It's just the attack button right here. So, but let me kill the panda here. Oh, see you later, panda. Now, basically, nothing can click here besides attack, right? But what happens is, if you click on last hit attack, notice what happens. On the bottom right corner, there is a small icon on the left bottom, and there's a small icon on the top bottom. So on the right bottom. Now, what do these two buttons do, right? What do the two buttons do, you may ask? Pretty simple. What happens is, if instead of click on this big auto attack button, the big X in the middle, you can click on the small icon over here. And when you do so, you will auto lock onto minions instead of heroes. And if panda ever shows up, I can show the difference, right? Here comes the panda, and we have to wait for one more wave. Now, the button on the right side is something that you really want to get yourself familiar with. It's something called tower lock mode. And tower lock mode is really important when you try to siege a tower, enemy team has some champion to defend it. Like, look over here. If I click on attack, it's gonna go on panda, right? But instead of doing attack, if I click on the small icon on the bottom right, it's gonna attack the minions instead of the panda, right? And that's extremely important when you try to farm in lane, because when you try to farm in lane, if the enemy champion is standing close to the minion, what you will do is you will automatically lock onto enemy champion. And that's going to be really bad for you, okay? Because you just want to farm. Sometimes it's very pointless to actually attack the enemy champion, alright? So let's go ahead and kill this panda, and I will show you what tower lock mode means. Let's see if there's a minion wave. Okay, now it's in the minion wave coming, right? If I click on auto attack, it's going to go to the minion here. And it's going to, or go to the champion here, right? But instead of doing this, right? If I get close to the tower, let me actually kill this minion here so we can get some minion in there so I don't die from showing you this experiment. So why is this panda so annoying, guys? Why is panda so annoying? Obviously we're gonna do some animal abuse right here and kill the panda. If I click close to the tower range and start auto attack, it's gonna attack the minion. But instead, if I click on tower lock mode, instead of attacking the ranged minions, you can see it's gonna attack the tower. Now, this is extremely important because when you try to siege a tower, usually what you will see a lot of minions or some champions or tank champions who defend the tower. So instead of attacking the minion, you can actually click on tower lock mode and hit a tower. And this is actually really useful when you try to siege enemy nexus, right? Because usually when you try to siege enemy nexus, a huge wave will spawn right in front of nexus, and you're gonna get yourself into this huge trouble, right? So the panda just really knows where I'm going, huh? The panda really know where I'm going. Now let's talk about something called hero lock mode. So basically what hero lock mode is, if you have it on in setting, if you have it on right here, what happens is you will see this little icon on the bottom right. And what this icon does is, whenever you're close by proximity of champions, it will show the little head icon. And you can click on it. If you see a little lock showing up, and you will see you have a little arrow showing up on the enemy Alice head. Now that's basically saying that I'm now locked onto Alice. Okay, so now my auto attack, see if I try to click on auto attack, it's gonna go back and turn around on Alex. Alright, now this is extremely good for a champion like Karina, for a champion like for in a team fight setting, right? When you try to lock onto a single unit that you try to assassinate, because you do not want to jump on a tank. Especially with Karina, if you waste your ability on a tank, you're gonna be a huge waste for the team. So make sure you have hero lock mode on, and when you're trying to hit enemy champions. So let's do a quick demonstration on the top lane, where we'll see Saber and Franco.
Few minutes later.
Now we at the top lane. So we see Saber and Franco. Now I want to jump on Saber, so why don't we go ahead and click on Saber's head, and you will see now if I click on ultimate, you'll actually jump on Saber rather than Franco, right? So this way you can make sure you don't target the wrong champion, right? Instead, you target the priority champion. Now you can lock onto Franco, and all of our abilities will go to Franco, right? So this is extremely important when you play assassins like Karina or Saber, because you want to make sure your abilities go to the right target. Another thing I want to talk about is something called a target lowest HP first and target the closest first. Now, obviously, as you can see from the setting and under control, those two options can be swapped very easily in setting, right? So usually you want to use target lowest HP champion on mage and assassin like Karina. Now, when you talk about physical assassin, make sure you have the closest champion first, okay? Because for Karina, you have to be able to use your ult, assassinate the person with lowest HP, and sometimes it's just a cluster of people use their ability real quick. Then you have lowest HP make a lot of sense. Now I want to show you what this means, right? So if we come over here, and now I have a lowest HP setting. Now obviously my skill will go to champions like this guy to kill him, right? But let's see if I can find a wave. So right here, there are 3 champions in front of me. I have lowest HP champion, lowest target on, even though Maya is closer to me. Let's see if I'm in range. If I click on ultimate, as you can see, it went on Alice, right? Now, obviously, I'm going to die here. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you have lowest HP champion, it's going to go on the lowest HP percentage champion, not by total HP. So make sure, even you have this on, make sure you still use hero lock mode so you don't waste your ultimate on the tank just because the tank has the lowest percentage HP. Another thing I want to talk about this setting is, when you play ADC or mage, make sure you have the closest first. Why? I want to show you. So if I go ahead and click on closest first, right? What happens is, if I see a minion here and a close to enemy, I'll actually click on auto attack. It will actually go on the minion, unless the champion just gets super close. This is extremely good when you play ADC because you don't want to chase an enemy champion that has tiny bitty more HP. A tiny bit of lower HP, and you just keep on walking towards him, even though there's some minions you can farm, even though there's some other stuff you can do. When you play ADC or physical assassin like Hayabusa, Saber, all those champions, make sure you have the closest first turn on in setting. Last but not the least, I want to talk about a setting, the second way of playing Mobile Legends, which is called auto aim system. When you have this on, make sure you still have those 2 settings changed in the game and hero lock mode on as well. Now, hero lock mode has nothing to do with that other setting, but what happens is, if you notice on the right bottom corner, the setting here is a little bit different. So have a little green thing on it, and what you can do is you can click on this, and you can select which minion you can go onto, and you can actually, by keep on tapping on it, and choose which one you want to attack. This is extremely useful if you can tap really fast and get used to it, because then you can actually micro control which target you want to go to by selecting the. Oh, whoops. Oh, awkward moment. We just have to demonstrate once we recover, but they say life is like a box of chocolate.
You never know what you're gonna get.
So let's go back here, and what happens is you can click on this mode right here, right? Toggle on, toggle on. You can actually select which champion you want to go to by selecting this. Did you see this little arrow go back and forth between champions like Maya and look? I'll try it again. See Maya right here. I click on this on the right side, and I can tap it again to switch between Maya and Saber. Okay, so this is actually extremely useful, and this is then you wonder, how do I use tower lock mode, because there's only a hero select over here. So it's actually really simple. Let's see if I can push the lane real quick to get to lane, right? To get to the enemy tower, and I'll show you. Oh my god, is it gonna kill me here? Oh, that was close. No! Alright, you know what? Let's restart a match. This is not gonna happen here. Alright guys, we are back, and let's get this game going. Alright, so what happens is, let's not hit the tower here. Let's hit the tower and wait for the wave to show up. And the wave is about to show up in 3, 2, 1. There's a wave here, and now if I click on auto attack and go onto the minion, but what? I'm trying to control it here. Oh, look. It's still locked onto the tower because I click on this thing right here. But if I switch to minions here, it's gonna go to minions, right? And you can actually switch between all minions and towers by tapping the small icon on the left bottom. So because I was locked onto hero, in the auto aim mode, if you don't switch, it will never switch. Meaning, like, if you don't get yourself used to it, it can really tilt you sometimes. So here, if I tap, I'm selecting to tower right here. That means if I come back, if I'm clicking auto attack, it's still gonna go back to the tower. I have to manually tap it back. But the good thing about this is, let's say I'm using my second ability here. Right? You will actually, I've realized you actually try that with this champion, but as a mage, if you have this lock onto a champion, lock onto a minion, you can actually use your spells lock onto it. For example, now I can select a minion to attack, right? To attack the minion here, but then I can select it back to towers. So you can see the targeting switch, right? You can see that. So this is actually really useful. And the hero lock mode on the right side, you can select which champion you want to lock onto. So this is it for the auto aim free aim system, right? Two ways you can play the game. I personally prefer last hit attack and free aim because it gives me everything I need personally, right? I don't have to select individual minions because I personally found them not so useful, because I just don't like to switch back and forth all the time. But if you're fast enough, if you think you have a finger of, you know, a great lover, oh, make sure you have the auto aim on. But I personally like free aim on with last hit attack. That's the way I have minion and tower lock mode. Pretty straightforward right here. And with the help of hero lock mode, it's going to help me a lot, right? So obviously I'm running out of mana here, but this clean's retarded. So let's see if I can kill him right here. Alright. So I hope this little guide helped you. So make sure you hit like and subscribe for this section. And why don't we quickly talk about how to play the MOBA game. How the pro League of Legends player play Mobile Legends. So basically what happens is, as you can see, what I'm doing here, if I swipe on the top right corner, not even on the top right corner, not even on the right corner, but if you swap somewhere close to your score right here, you can actually move your screen. Now it doesn't work on anywhere else on the entire screen here. It only works on the top right of your screen. So let's say you're assassin and you're waiting in here. Now you can only see certain area, right? You cannot see what's next to the Clint. You don't see where the positions are for the rest of the champions, and you want to make sure you want to engage the right time, the right place, the assassin or a tank. Now, what do? How does this guy know I'm here again? So let's head into the bush. What you do is you can actually swipe on the top right and move your screen to scout this area to kind of know where enemy positions are. And I talk about this because most League of Legends player or other mobile player, computer mobile players, once they play this game, a common problem when they find is they cannot scout the area, right? Obviously it's a mobile game, so they have a hard time finding what's going on. But with the help of this is quickly tap, you can actually see what's going on next to you. Another way to do this, let's say you're Moscow, right? You don't want to do this and swipe all the way to the top and see where enemy teams are, because that's kind of retarded. Let's say if I'm in the mid lane, right, and then I try to gank bottom lane, and I want to see where at bottom lane like enemies are. Let's say I'm just farming here, you know, happily doing my thing, and I want to see where Clint are, right? I want to see his positioning. I want to see where enemy teams are. What do? You can actually look at the small screen and use your finger to pin on the small map right here, and just move it around. There's gonna be a little circle on the map that's gonna show you, like, it's gonna go to where your area of interest are. So if I just move it around, I can scout the entire map, right? I personally like to use this because it gives me an easier way to control the entire map, so I can see where enemies are before I jump in with a tick, before I you know, position my Franco, try to use hook, before I use a Karina and go in, because this way I can know the battlefield. I can see if an enemy champion use their critical abilities already, and then I jump in, right? So make sure that you get used to this before you go into a fight. You use the scout, either swipe to the top right, or you can swipe on the small map, right, and to see where enemy teams are doing before you engage or commit yourself to a team fight. So this is it for us in this short and sweet guide on how to play the champion, how to play this game like a pro, right? Something that if you ask a pro, they will never tell you because they probably never know what to say, right? You're like, how do you become so good? Why you're able to target the person you want to target? This is it, guys. Make sure you share this with your friends who try to get it better. Make sure you share this with your team so they know about tower lock mode, hero lock mode. They know about how to scout the map before they go in. Because, you know, playing on phone, playing on iPad is really hard sometimes because you don't know where enemies are. You don't know what they have done. And with the help of these two settings, with the help of getting used to this, you should be able to quickly maneuver and dominate the battlefield. So make sure you hit like and subscribe, guys, to join Team Assassination. Assassin Dave right here. And Assassin Dave, peace out.